Hey there, Saints. Pastor Dave here with another weekly devotional for you this Wednesday. Last several months, I've been kind of doing devotionals based on lectionary readings, but as we get back into the season of ordinary time, I wanted to go back to what I'd been doing earlier and following another writer's devotional. And so one I've pulled off my shelf today is by Sarah Arthur. It's called the 1 Year Daily Grind. And I have a reading called Art as Worship, which is her thoughts on what it means to be a creator, just as God is a creator. It's easy to use the word Christian as an adjective rather than a noun. We talk of Christian music, Christian movies, and Christian books as if this somehow helps us claim them or label them as safe. For example, people often ask me if The Lord of the Rings is a Christian story. Oh, we can say that J.R.R. Tolkien was a Christian, and we can also say that the more he marinated in the flavors of his Christian faith, the more that flavor came out in his writing. In fact, we can even say Tolkien saw his creativity as a form of worship to the Creator God. He called it a sub-creative art. He saw God as the original creator, and we, human beings made in his image, as sub-creators. We engage in the activity of creation because that's what we are made to do. On the one hand, I believe reading Tolkien's tale can be a means of worshiping God. I know several people who've been drawn to Jesus after reading The Lord of the Rings. But we must be very cautious about saying Tolkien's story is Christian or not Christian. Tolkien was a Christian, and that's about as far as we can go. Even so, as Christians, we can learn a lot from that master storyteller. We can experience the arts as a way to commune with God, connect with God, and experience God speaking to us. Art can speak to us of God's glory whether or not the poet or author or painter intended that. So perhaps a better adjective than Christian would be sacred. Art that speaks of the holy and divine. Meanwhile, just because someone is a Christian doesn't mean his or her art must be filled with crosses or mention God or Jesus directly. A work of art may do those things, but it may not. And yet, the more an artist marinates in the flavors of his or her faith, the more that flavor will most likely come out in all he or she does. How is your life a work of art, a piece of music, a poem to God's glory? Saints, I think that's an interesting follow-up to last time when we talked about what the word Christian means. It's the idea that, we are Christians, people are Christians, and the things that we make are not necessarily Christian or unchristian, but they are reflections of our faith. They do communicate something of who we are, what we believe, what's important, what we value. And so I'm interested in what you create, how you express your relationship with God through that creativity. I've never really thought of myself as a creative person. I've actually kind of lamented that myself for many seasons of my life. That I didn't feel like I could write very well. I didn't feel like I could draw very well. I didn't feel like I could shape clay very well. I didn't feel like I could do things creatively, generatively that ended up being anything anybody wanted to see or hold or experience. And when I was in clinical pastoral education, a hospital chaplaincy setting, my supervisor challenged us to do something creative, and I expressed that to him. I said, I don't feel like I'm a creative person. I don't feel like I can do that. And he came back and gave me all these examples of things that I had done throughout the semester of writing songs and writing stories and stuff that I didn't really think of as creative, and yet I guess it was. And so I've been able to see myself a little bit in a different lens. I still don't think that I'm such a wonderful creative person, but I think that there are lots of things that we create that we maybe don't take credit for or give ourselves credit for. And I wonder what it is that you enjoy creating. What it is that you enjoy doing that expresses who you are and your faith to those around you. And maybe, it's something that you've never really thought of before. as being a creative expression. Maybe it's baking, or maybe it's, fixing up cars, or maybe it's your love of learning. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear from you what it is that you do, how you create for your Creator who has made you in His creative image. That's your devotional this week, and I hope it's helpful. I hope it's worth thinking about. Saints, I hope you're doing well and staying healthy. I'm praying for you. Please keep praying for me, and y'all take care. I'll see you again soon.